welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm Steph Wolfred. As the fall semester comes to an end, the Panhellenic Council has been busy making plans for January recruitment. Female students interested in joining a Greek organization have had multiple opportunities to learn about Butler's sororities. Today, Panhell Exec member Jessie Munn will provide insight on some of the behind-the-scenes activities that make recruitment a little easier. Thank you, Jessie, for joining me. So first, if you could just tell me a little bit about the role of the Panhellenic Council on Butler's campus.
Okay. So the Panhellenic Council is like the governing body kind of all the sororities on campus. So it's kind of like a set of checks and balances to make sure that all of the sororities follow the rules they're supposed to be following, and just make it an equal playing field for all of the houses, I guess, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, definitely. As a member on the exec board, what is your specific role?
Okay, well, I am the Vice President of Special Events, so I am in charge of putting together Butler's Greek Week, which we call it Greekend here. Yeah, so that's basically, we do some little things throughout the year. So right now we're working on a Cinderella's Closet prom dress drive, which I am heading up because that's kind of my role, but it's mostly just Greekend.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about Greekend and about Cinderella's Closet and raising dresses for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Greekend took place in September, like the second or third weekend in September. The reason why we do a weekend instead of an entire week is just because our Greek community is smaller than like Purdue or a very big school that's got like 40 houses. And so that way people aren't completely overwhelmed with the programming. So this year we had a variety of activities. We had some merchandise that we gave away just promoting Greek life. We were supposed to do a tie-dye event, but it rained. So we had food trucks that came to campus. We did a volunteer activity on the Saturday of Greekend, which was new. So we sent about 70 students to Broad Ripple to 2 locations, and we did just some various volunteer activities that they needed done at the Riviera Club and then at the Broad Ripple Village Association.
That's great.
Yeah, and then we did a Capture the Flag tournament and just some like little things. A lot of it was new that we had never done before, so it was kind of like experimental to see if people would like it, but it ended up being great. So.
Wow, okay,
yeah.
So what's kind of like the purpose of that weekend?
Greekend, the point of Greek Week, I think, is just to bring all of the fraternities and sororities together just to kind of promote Greek life as a whole instead of promoting your specific chapter or your specific philanthropy. Greek Week is just kind of to just celebrate Greek life. Together, yeah.
That's great. And so you mentioned Cinderella's Closet, and what are you doing for that? Okay,
so every year we help Broad Ripple High School by collecting gently used prom and formal dresses. And then what they do is high school girls who maybe can't afford a prom dress or didn't have time to look for one or whatever the case may be, they bring in all these donated prom dresses, and then they can either take them for free or pay a much lower cost for the dresses, because you really only wear your prom dress once.
Right.
And some people keep them for sentimental value. I don't keep mine because I can't fit into any of them anymore. But so basically we're just trying to collect gently used prom and formal dresses. This year we're gonna open it up to all women on campus.
Oh,
so not only the Greek organizations, but there will be collection boxes in the residence halls and in Starbucks as well.
Okay.
So we can even, anybody who has dresses can donate them. And we've been told by Broad Ripple High School that the Butler Panhellenic is the biggest supplier of their prom dresses for this drive.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll have a lot of dresses this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So for students who want to donate their prom dresses, where should they take those and when?
Yeah. Okay. So what we're kind of targeting is that you would collect your dresses over Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
So the week that we're actually collecting them is December 1st through the 8th.
Okay.
In the sorority houses, we're not giving collection boxes because it's really hard to find giant collection boxes. So they're just going to, hang on to them until somebody from Panhell Exec comes to round up all the dresses. There will be collection boxes in the residence halls, like I said, so girls can just kind of drop those off whenever. There will be one in Starbucks as well, so anybody who has one and sees the collection box can drop it off. Yeah, and then I or someone else from Panhandle Exec will be going around at the end of that week to collect the dresses.
Okay, that's great. So, what are some events that Panhandle does as a council prior to recruitment and after recruitment?
Okay, well, prior to recruitment, we have quite a lot of events. It kind of kicks off with block party. So the recruitment counselors will be standing around at block party to help girls sign up for formal recruitment or just sign up if they're interested in learning more about it. And then we have house tours are put on by Panhandle. So the girls gives the girls an opportunity to go in the houses and see what that's all about. And then we do Sorority 101, which is just kind of, it's like an hour or a half hour long where we just kind of tell everybody what Greek life is all about and give them like an intro to the individual houses. And then we're getting ready to do Panhandle Dessert, which will be on Sunday. And what that is we're doing like a little fashion show to show like what to and what not to wear during recruitment.
Oh, great.
And then the girls can have like a dessert, and there'll be recruitment counselors at each table to kind of answer questions and just be like a liaison between the girls on stage and the girls who are there for information.
Awesome. So, what about after recruitment? Do you guys still have events that go on, or is it mostly just prior to recruitment?
Mostly just prior to recruitment.
Okay.
There will be various like programming things that take place afterwards, but that just kind of depends on the council and who, is creating those events.
Sure. So in your opinion, how does Panhandle benefit Butler's Greek system?
Well, I think specifically, I don't think we could have it without Panhandle. But like I said, it's that set of checks and balances. So I don't think that we really have animosity between houses on Butler's campus, but if there were, that would kind of be the role of Panhandle, just to make sure that really the point behind Greek life is that we love Greek life and not just that we want to be, these letters and that's our life. It's more like we believe in the benefits of Greek life as a whole.
Okay. Very interesting.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So what are some of the main goals of Panhandle as it relates to recruitment on campus?
Okay, well, ideally we are just trying to make sure that any woman who's interested in joining the Greek system at Butler has an equal opportunity to do so. So so it's just, recruitment is a very interesting and weird process, but the Panhellenic Council is just there to give everybody that fair share, to give anyone counseling or advice that they might need during the process, and that kind of a thing. So that includes Panhandle Exec and recruitment counselors.
Sure. So what's the process involved for becoming a recruitment counselor or even a member of Panhandle Exec?
Okay, well, in order to become a recruitment counselor, you have to have gone through recruitment on both sides of the fence. So you have to have gone as a potential member and as a member of a chapter organization.
Okay.
And then basically you just, the applications will go out pretty soon after recruitment is over for the next year's recruitment counselors. And you would just fill out an application, and then you would be notified whether or not you received an interview, and then you sign up for an interview slot. And the way that we do interviews for recruitment counselors is like a little group interview. So you'd be in there with 3 or 4 other prospective recruitment counselors with Panhandle Exec and Becky Drexler, the director of Greek Life. And you would just answer some questions, and then shortly after that, either that night or usually the next day, the recruitment counselors find out if they are offered a position or not.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the behind-the-scenes things that Panhandle does during recruitment week that the Greek system doesn't necessarily see?
Okay, well, we, for those women or men, I guess, who have gone through the recruitment process, everything in between kind of takes place in the Riley room. So while the women are in the chapter houses, that's kind of where we are, the recruitment counselors and Panhandle Exec, just kind of hanging out. We watched The House Bunny last year while the girls were in the houses. Not a good representation of Greek life, I will say. But and at night, the recruitment counselors will be with their group of women to help them rank their choices and just to answer questions, just to be there for support. But then Panhandle Exec does like all of the computer stuff.
Okay.
So we make sure that everyone has ranked their houses. Anyone who went to a house, we make sure, anybody who has decided to drop out of the process, that they have been counseled and talked to, just so we kind of have a grasp on where everybody's at. Yeah, there's a lot, and this is my first year being on exec, so I was a recruitment counselor last year, so I kind of have an idea. But I don't know exactly what we do.
Sure.
We, prepare the lists in the morning to give to the girls.
Right.
We organize the bid cards on Sunday, that kind of a thing. We're basically just the hands and feet of Em Svetnoff, who is the vice president of recruitment.
Okay.
Because she has a lot going on that week, so we just kind of do whatever she needs done for her.
So I guess my last question for you is, what is the most rewarding part about being on this side of recruitment as a Panhandle exec member versus being in your chapter house?
Yeah. I think recruitment is a fun and exciting process no matter what side you're on. But being a recruitment counselor last year, it's just fun. It really reminded me why I did Greek life as a freshman, just because it's so exciting and so different, but at the same time, you learn so much about yourself throughout the process, which sounds so cliche. I feel like all the answers to these questions are like, right out of the book. But it really is. And I got to meet so many great new members, but also I became really close with all the other recruitment counselors. And some of my best friends I wouldn't have known if I hadn't have done it.
Right.
So it's definitely, if anyone is interested in being on this side of recruitment, I would definitely encourage them to just go for it, because it is a completely different experience.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jessie, for joining me
course.
today. I'm Steph Wolfred, and you're watching the Butler Beat.
Welcome back to the Butler Beat. I'm Ryan Lovelace. Joining me today is Dr. Jason Lancer, the Interim Honors Program Coordinator at Butler. Thank you for joining me today, Dr. Lancer.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
Okay, so tell me about the Honors Program. What is it and who's involved?
The Honors Program, the University Honors Program, is Butler's way by which we have some of our top students involved in what I like to think of as extra scholarship. It's a means for students on the university campus to take classes that are a little bit beyond sometimes their major, taught by faculty that are doing different things than would normally be taught in the classroom, and a means by which those students get a little bit extra something from their education and their time at Butler.
And so how did you become involved in the Honors Program?
A few years ago, I was asked if I would be interested in teaching a class on, this would have been in 2008 actually, on the Lincoln-Douglas debates. And since I'm an American historian by training, I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to do something a little bit different with the Civil War, especially at the time in which we were going through a presidential election cycle. So I did, and I then got asked if I wanted to convert my first-year seminar into an honors first-year seminar, which I was more than happy to do, and I've been teaching honors classes ever since.
Okay, and I understand that you've been functioning as the Interim Honors Program Coordinator for just about 2 months now. So what did you learn about the Honors Program maybe in those last 2 months that you did not know before?
All the paperwork that's involved. It went from just being in the classroom, which I'm still getting to do and really enjoying, to helping advise students and moving them through the program. In addition to taking classes, students within the honors program have additional set of requirements in terms of what we call honors cultural events that they have to attend. We've been working on making sure that we've got plenty of those involved, but also an honors thesis. And so helping students work on getting ready to put together a thesis prospectus, as well as the final touches of proposals and actual theses getting handed in. That was all new.
Okay, and how is the honors curriculum maybe different from a typical Butler student's curriculum?
Well, it's in addition. It's, as I like to say, kind of the icing on the cake of your time and classroom experience here in Butler. So you have to take essentially 4 extra classes for a total of 8 credits, honors classes currently are 2 credit hours. And in addition to that, then really the major difference is the thesis writing, which most students do the last year or so they're here at the university.
And what does that entail?
That entails doing some original research, working with a professor on a project or being guided by that professor through a project that you come up with on your own. Because we are the University Honors Program, we have students in all 6 of Butler's colleges, so we take a very flexible or elastic view as to what your thesis ends up needing to be. But anything from doing research in the sciences to an original performance. A few years ago, someone, I believe he was an art major, did his thesis as a comic book. So we quite literally do a little bit of everything.
Okay, and I understand that you've said the requirements for the honors program aren't going to change during this kind of change in organization and leadership and that sort of a thing, but maybe what changes do you hope the honors program can make in the future?
I would like us to be able to offer more classes. That, of course, is contingent on finding faculty who are available to teach those classes, because the honors program doesn't have a core group of faculty per se at our disposal. We draw from departments and colleges. I'd like us to retain all the students we have. That's really my main goal this year, is we don't want to lose anybody, and we want to make sure that everybody who's in the program knows exactly what it is they need to do to finish the program and to work towards that goal.
And how many students are actually involved in the program, and how's that changed since you've been involved?
Well, it hasn't changed too much since I've been involved, since I've only been there for 2 months. Hopefully we're keeping everybody. But we have around 400 to 500 students at any given time in the program. We shoot for around offering the incoming freshman class, about 10% of them are invited to join. Most of them do, but not everybody. And then there is, over the course of time, some students drop out. Other students petition to get in or are asked to join, usually during their sophomore year. So our numbers stay fairly constant from year to year, although we are also growing. As the student body has grown over the past couple years, our enrollments have also grown. So that's a positive thing and something that we're working to keep ahead of as much as we can.
And how do you determine which students are qualified to be in the honors program for Butler?
As an incoming freshman, the requirements are tagged not necessarily by us, but it's something that's set by us in conjunction with the university in terms of who gets invited. And it has to do with GPA and test scores and all that other fun stuff. If you're invited to join, then in addition to saying, yes, I would like to join, we also ask that you write an essay, and then there's a process by which the people who have applied in that fashion are then vetted and then allowed into the program.
So what makes Butler's honors program different from other programs, for better or for worse?
What makes Butler's honors program different? In some respects, we're smaller than a lot of schools of comparable size. In other respects, that smallness makes us not just unique, but more versatile, I think. We're able to offer a much wider, broader spectrum of classes because we aren't tied to, say, an honors core curriculum per se. When you enter the honors program at Butler, you're still doing classes in your major, and indeed we expect that if you're doing university honors, you're also going to be doing departmental honors as well. So it is, as I think I said earlier, sort of the icing on the cake here. It's extra, it's additional, and that makes it a little bit different than some other places where you are quite literally put into almost an honors an honors track from day one, and you don't deviate from it.
And I understand the senior thesis is kind of a very important part of the honors program. So maybe what are the different senior theses that you know of going on right now, or that have been particularly interesting that have happened in the past?
Well, as I mentioned before, there was the one that was done as a comic book, which still sort of amazes me. but we have a broad range of theses either in the works or that have been done recently. Anything from sort of historical research to scientific research to we have one that's in the works right now that I think the student is going to be proposing this spring that has to do with putting together a CD of various Butler music groups or performances and programs. And I'm excited to see what's going to come in this spring too, because that'll be my first real taste of where we are and what our students are doing and thinking.
Okay, and what should students in the honors program now expect about the ways the program might change before they graduate?
Well, we're going to stress, I think, as much as we possibly can, continuity. Any changes that are made aren't going to be radical to students who are currently in the program, and students who will enter the program after those changes, whatever they might be, and it's definitely a process, and it's something that we're working on. Right now, they're not going to know any different, but there will definitely be a transition period, but we'll manage that. So if you are, for example, a freshman today, the standards we hold you to are the ones you entered under. Subsequent changes are, well, subsequent changes. So it's whatever those changes might be, and we're talking perhaps increasing the number of credit hours that are attached to the honors degree. That'll prompt some changes, but they won't be so earth-shattering, like, you know, we're not introducing another thesis or something like that. So I think students should expect that we're going to work in the Chase office as hard as we possibly can to make this the best possible experience for them.
And would you presume any of those changes to be new extracurricular opportunities or new classes, or what might you think?
I think what we've been currently talking about is, for example, we are working on a pilot program to add GHS honors sections, which I think will probably be in the works for next spring, 2015. We're always looking for new faculty to come in because, as I think I said, we're reliant on faculty to be able to teach classes and develop classes that are new and different, and so we're always looking for ways to try and attract faculty who in turn help attract students into those classes. But I don't think we're going to see massive, major changes anytime soon.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lancer, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
I'm Ryan Lovelace, and you've been watching the Butler Beat.